Hi, welcome back everyone to the Smudging Sage Tarot. Before we start, I like to clear the air with some sage, sweeping away negativity or confusion. This helps us focus on the heart of the matter with clarity and light. Remember, the cards offered inside, summarily the interpreter, and this is for entertainment purpose only. So, let's dive straight away into Keanu Reeves' reading. I cannot wait. Without further ado. Okay, so I'm probably going to use all those cards, not sure. I want to go more into the feminine, meaning not too much structure, but always trying to be clear, okay? So, the first thing I want to ask, because when it comes to Keanu Reeves, the curiosity is always around that heaviness, that seriousness that I see in his face, in his eyes, and that's quite, intriguing. Okay, all right, okay. There are cards here. All right, okay. Let's see. So, the first question I want to ask is, what past life experience influences Keanu Reeves' current incarnation? And what soul purpose is he here to fulfill? Now, why I ask this question? Because I just said that because I feel there is something more to the narrative. And if you remember the other reading I did about him, it really feels like he has a very deep soul journey. Of course, like all of us, but sometimes there are people are more affected. So what was his past life? Okay, all right. So he has a galactic soul. This is the very first thing we see in this card of past life. And I see this star, and it's a beautiful, beautiful star. Of course, you know, it's a sun that is really central. Oh my God. The sensation is that he really comes far away, but still with the he carries a frequency really of somebody beyond Earth, old cosmic energy. But you will say, okay, we all are suns, stars, and stuff like that. Yes, of course. But there are not ordinary souls. You know, at the end of the day, we are one, for sure, but still there are differences. It's not like an eye is in a body is the same thing of a foot. You see what I mean? We are all part of the same body, but there are parts that are look, feel, and are completely different from others, and they look and feel far away. What this card is telling me is that he is not just here to live. He is here to illuminate, to offer presence, to walk between dimensions. And that's why sometimes he feels distant, okay? But that's because his spirit remembers the stars. He's always here with us and like us, but at the same time, he is different, okay? So, I would say, let's put this card here because it gives us the idea of where his soul comes from and what is his purpose. And then we ask the previous life in this reincarnation or incarnation, okay? Okay, imprisonment or slavery. Oh, this is a very intense card. So, in a past life, Keanu's soul experienced a profound lack of freedom. Imprisonment or slavery, okay, like the card says. This could reflect literal captivity or symbolic oppression, being silenced, restrained, or forced to live under someone else's control. It felt a karmic, you know, it's like it really left a karmic imprint. You see, one of losing his voice and personal sovereignty. Yeah. Yeah. Said, yeah, anyway, something really, really traumatic about freedom. And then the next card I'm going to pull is, in this life, the energy, what is the energy of this reincarnation? Oh my God. Unrequited love, I think, is the pronunciation. Unrequited love. Anyway, if I'm not, you can read it. Look. How serious, how heavy is this card? And it's about when you love somebody, but this person doesn't love you. And that's awful. Oh my God. Anyway, in this life, that energy transforms into a more emotional theme, okay? This card speaks of connections that don't fully materialize, of love that lives more in the soul than in reality. And when you think about his life, right, for a reason or for another, it couldn't be, his love couldn't be reciprocated. Keanu Reeves' readings are always so intense and beautiful and tough, because he has such an intense life because of his very intense soul. And his soul remembers that it's like, what is like to love deeply without being fully met. And I think we somehow, on some levels, we can all relate to this reading, to those cards, and we can understand how tough it is. Okay? It's tough and beautiful at the same time. So now we can grasp his intensity and why it is so intense. So, Keanu's soul isn't here to possess, it's clear, but to liberate, okay? He's lived captivity, now he seeks peace. He's known love without return, okay? Now he radiates presence. His purpose is to be a bright star, a bridge between Earth and the stars. And of course, he's a huge star, one of the biggest stars. So let's pull some cards from here and check a little bit on, this, some questions about what he's doing now, where he is at, which archetype he reincarnates now. The medallion. Oh, wow. So, this archetype from the wild unknown archetypes speaks of legacy, okay? Sacred inheritance and the eternal quest to live a life of symbolic meaning. You see the meaning of this card. An example. You see something, this is like a star too. Something that people can see and reach at and say, oh yeah, I want to be like this. I want to be like this. It's like an example. So Keanu, through this card, is shown as someone who carries a soul symbol, a medallion of a purpose, passed through lifetimes, okay? This could be his art, his presence, or the vibration he brings to the world just by existing. He's so true, so real, so, when you see solid. And this is the beauty of this man, that he is solid and vulnerable at the same time. That's marvelous. So, but he may not wear it outwardly, okay? But it radiates from him, this light. This is also the energy of someone who protects something sacred. So Keanu may see his life as a vessel, not to be used up by fame, okay? But to be offered with intention. So the medallion can also represent a soul contract, a divine agreement to hold the light through integrity, humility, and quiet wisdom. And I want to be very clear here, because then there is always somebody who comments, oh, then he's perfect, oh, he doesn't have any flaws or whatever. Guys, let's be extra honest, because if you like the smudging sage tarot, it's because you want to go through falsity and smoke and mirrors. There are people who have more flaws, and there are people who have less flaws, okay? And it's not even about having flaws or not, because somebody that for me is unbearable, for somebody else is very fun. It's just about that energy, that integrity that this man brings into the world. And the generosity it shows every time. Because I tell you something, if you think about other star or leader starlet, as I like to call them, that are basically nobody in terms of acting, are absolutely good actors but are not at all stars, and they can sing a little bit or they can do something another little bit, and they think that they are gods on earth, and you cannot even pass by, they push you away because the ego is so big. Because that's the point here. It's somebody that came here as everybody, like everybody, and somebody who was born already big with a huge energy of a star, a big sun that warms up the hearts, okay? I am talking about success, not going into the mind of people and making him nuts and outside of dignity, generosity, humanity, just acting like they believe who they think they are, and they are basically nobody, okay? I don't want to go down there. Let's go ahead with this. So I always turn very protective around Keanu Reeves, I know. And you know very well that I'm not a huge fan. You are the huge fan, and I do those readings for you. But when I read his cards, this man, it's so honest, it's so real, that I feel like I want to protect him. And it's because I'm very maternal, and he didn't ask me, I know, but it is what it is. Okay, so let's see a little bit what else is telling us the tarot. Tell us about him now, how he's doing, how he's carrying himself, and yeah, what's going on with him? Okay, let's see. Oh, okay. The Fool in reverse. Okay. And wow, the Knight of Wands in reverse. And this rings a bell. Because in another reading I have done for Keanu, all the four, I have to put the link in the description box. But I think that the all four knights came out, and the Knight of Wands was in reverse again. And it's spectacular, because with this man, an energy that brings fire, desire, going ahead, going forward, being speedy. In this man's reading, in his energy, the Knight of Wands is always reversed. And okay, let's go first with interpretation of this. I will probably pull a card to understand why this card is always on reverse. Okay, so the Fool reversed, okay? The Fool, when upright, speaks of lips of faith, new beginnings, and the innocent joy of the soul's journey, okay? And it's the card of the soul saying yes to life. And here comes in reverse. It brings, carries a different tone, okay? Especially in a soul reading like we are doing now. It tells us that there is a hesitation in the journey. You see, it's like going with the handbrake on. I think this is the right expression, but you got what I mean. Like a deep caution around risk, especially when it feels directionless, okay? He probably had some experiences in his past lives where he was so joyful and went fully into it, and everything went wrong, went bad, wasn't wrong, went badly. And he carries some scares, or not even scare, because the scar is healed, but some wounds not yet healed. So like a karmic memory of having lived too soon in a past life with the painful consequences. Yeah. And when paired with the medallion, this creates a beautiful contrast. So Keanu's soul is not afraid, but it is mindful, okay? Is not reckless, is reverent, okay? So he moves through life carefully, not because he doubts himself, but because he understands the weight of his energy, okay? So we are talking about huge cosmic elements, right? To make a connection with this galactic card. He knows that every step taken in alignment becomes part of his legacy. So this full reversed is not lost. It is, how to say, listening. Wow. Oh my God, look at this fool. Yeah, even the bird cannot fly. The energy is so heavy, but because again, it's like his specific weight is heavy. And I think that's also the reason why sometimes when he makes jokes, to me, but I have a very peculiar sense of humor, probably for that. But what I perceive is like when he makes some jokes, it's always something that if anybody else makes jokes, people can laugh. But when he makes jokes, feels a little bit awkward because his energy is so big and so heavy that the joke doesn't even add something to this huge personality. And while you can totally connect when he says something extra simple, like when they ask, what do you think it happens after when you die, somebody dies? And he replies in a way that I would have never, the simplicity itself, okay? But I would have never imagined. And he says, I don't know what happens to the person who dies, but the people around him will be very sad. And this is down to earth so much. There is so much there. Anyway, so in synthesis, walking the path with sacred intention, you know, together with the medallion, the full reverse shows us a soul that isn't here to perform or impress in everyday life. Of course, I know he's an actor. It's here to remember, to honor, to live with the meaning. And you notice that everything he does is meaningful. It's never out of, okay, now I do this, whatever. Keanu works as someone who holds a contract with the unseen, something ancient, something sacred. He doesn't rush, you see, because he knows this path matters. Even his silence speaks. So he's not trying to be followed. He's simply following something deeper within himself. So, but what is now this energy of this Ten of Wands that is here? I have just seen it, and I think this is the reply. So, wow, I was looking at the Ten of Wands, and instead of saying the Knight of Wands, I said the Ten of Wands. What is this energy of the Knight of Wands in reverse? I think underneath the deck, this is the reply. Is the Ten of Wands. He is loaded. That I want to put this card for the moment like this. The reason why this Knight of Wands is in reverse is because of the weight he carries. Look at this. So the Knight of Wands in reverse has appeared again when a card repeats itself, okay, in multiple readings. It carries a persistent message from the soul, okay? I repeat that because this card is coming over and over in his readings, and that's why it carries a message from his soul. And one that insists on being understood. So this time is accompanied by this clarifying card, the Ten of Wands from the bottom of the deck. Together they tell a deeper story, okay? Upright, the Knight of Wands represents action, passion, and bold creative momentum. It's the archetype of the inspired soul rushing towards a goal with the courage and enthusiasm, but in reverse, this reversal, that energy becomes blocked, internalized, or restrained. It tells us that Keanu's soul is not impulsive. It moves with great care. There may be a fear of burning out, yes, or of being misunderstood if his full energy is revealed, okay? So there is a deep need to protect the creative fire rather than letting it explode outwards. This is not the repression, okay? It's discernment. But again, because he's such a heavy presence, feels so heavy, okay, and so stuck. So it's a choice to hold back until the moment is truly right. so that when the Ten of the Wands shows up, it talks about the weight of responsibility, okay? The Ten of Wands represents burdens, obligations, and the emotional weight we carry. And I tell you, I have been, and probably I'm trying to get rid of it, in this energy for many years. Basically, as a kid, I was already there, so I think this is something that I too bring from a previous lifetime. And guys, it's unbearable. It's almost close to the complex of Atlantis, where everything that happens comes back to you. It's your responsibility. And there is nothing more awful than that, because then you become, you see, the center of all the problems, and all the responsibilities are yours. You see what I mean? And it's so false, because we are here, we are all here on a mission, and we have to take on our responsibilities. But ours, not others, you know? But of course, fatally, eventually, everybody that gravitates around these people with the complex, Atlantis complex, they feel much better, because this person takes all the burden of other people. So there is always taking more. So sometimes, you know, you don't only carry yours, you carry the one of others. And karmically, this card suggests that Keanu is carrying spiritual or emotional weight from past lives, like I just said. May have taken on too much, either from a strong sense of duty or as a way to protect others. And these guys, I am not a psychologist, probably somebody that studied, or psychologist that follow this channel can tell us in the comments if protecting others is the backbone of this complex of taking on all the responsibilities. Because you really do it out of selflessness, and you want to help others because you cannot bear them suffering, okay? And in the meantime, you take on, and that can kill you, right? So I wish everybody with this that you drop your burden. Anyway, and this associates full self-expression with exhaustion or sacrifice, okay? And therefore chooses restraint. This card explains beautifully why this Knight of Wands comes always in reverse in his reading on this channel. So the soul is tired anyway. It's clear. It's so clear. The soul is tired, cautious, and careful not to repeat all the patterns or overextension. Please don't, because your soul, and probably many of our souls are exhausted. Okay, so those cards all together reveal an important aspect of Keanu's current incarnation, okay? He's not here to burn fast and bright, but to tend a steady flame. He's not driven by visibility, but by purpose. his soul has learned through lifetimes that energy is sacred and should only be offered when it aligns with integrity. So if he seems quiet, even withdrawn at times, it's not because there's no fire, it's because that fire is being guarded, preserved, and directed with intention. He is learning to act not from urgency, but from clarity, okay? So, what is the current energetic dynamic? Because we have to go to the people around him now, because we have to close this circle, okay? And because we didn't do a reading about him and Alexandra Grant for a long time, I am now curious, where are they at now, okay? So, and what is their relationship teaching, you know, each of them, what is teaching them, okay? Okay, so let's have a glimpse into the present, okay? The Chariot. Oh. The Two of Pentacles and the Five of Swords. Another one, yes. And the Four, okay, okay. All right, okay, so this is the most important card here. Yeah, because ta-da! The Four of Swords in reverse shows that true rest may be hard for Keanu now. Within and then within their connection right now too. So there is a sense of how to say, not feeling not feeling safe. This is the key point here. And it's possible that while she still plays a role, probably protective role, I don't know, in his life, her presence may also bring subtle tension, wherever you put it. Like headaches to him. And then with the crow here, it's like telling him something, like his higher self is not aligned with this connection anymore, and it's like, okay, now is time to give it a break here and get free, because and of course for him is an headache, because he takes everything, look, on his shoulders. But I don't think this is a good idea to carry her too. Anyway, talking about carrying, Yeah, but before to go to the Chariot, probably this, her presence may also, the word is, that I'm looking for is, not an annoyance, but even harm at a certain point, okay? Or interrupt a deeper kind of solitude that Keanu's soul is seeking, and then makes him run away from her. She may once have been a guardian, but now the boundary feels thinner. The space between them is no longer still, it's stirring. Yeah, this is the word. So with the Chariot, the Two of Pentacles and the Five of Swords, those three cards speak volumes, okay? Because Keanu is protecting something sacred, okay? His path, his inner direction, his soul's momentum, okay? So, because the Chariot shows a deep drive to stay aligned with desired truth. The Two of Pentacles tells us he's balancing dual identities, okay? The private man and the public figure, the mystic and the actor, okay? Because he is mystic, guys, you can tell. And even though he can have flaws and he can be wrong sometimes, he's still a man, but you can tell he's a mystic, okay? And the Five of Swords reveals that he has learned speaking is true, that the fact that when he speaks his truth, it can cost everything. You see, like the video, I'm putting the link in the description box when I spoke about Giordano Bruno that was burned on stake. Okay, because he spoke his truth. Who knows if it was reincarnated from him? I wouldn't be surprised. Anyway, so there is a wound around the conflict, betrayal, and being misunderstood. His soul remembers persecution, perhaps even lifetimes where truth was dangerous. And so even now, he chooses discretion over disclosure, okay? So, what this relationship is teaching them now, okay? So another card, and the third card, okay, good. Okay. A sip of water. The Star, right out of the bath. The star shines as a symbol of hope and healing, okay? And also a wish. Or a hope that is holding on this relationship or this person. Their bond may offer moments of clarity, okay, reflection, and even inspiration sometimes. But and the Seven of Pentacles speaks of patience, okay? Of a relationship that grows slowly with the time and care. But then here you go. The Lovers in reverse. we see a deeper truth here. That's why I love to let free the cards to express themselves. This card in reverse may not be a soul union based on a romantic destiny. No, no, no. Instead, it's a sacred agreement with boundaries. One that teaches them about selfhood, sovereignty, and non-attachment. So, once again, this relationship is not love in the sense of connecting body, soul, mind, growing together. That love that you enter into a room, you don't know anybody, and you can tell two people in the room love each other. This is love. And here, even when they kiss in public, you tell, this is not. What is this? I mean, we know. So, this is not a love story in the traditional sense. It is a soul encounter, one part protection, one part lesson, and one part mystery, okay? Alexandra may have once stood as a shield, like we said in the other reading, a quiet presence guarding, something sacred, okay? But now the energy is shifting. Keanu's soul continues its path, measured, private, profoundly focused. And this connection, while meaningful, reminds him to protect what matters most, It's like, okay, I want to use the word dangerous with the caution, meaning he wants to protect his space. And this woman, when he's in his space, it's not safe. Okay, I made it super simple to close it, okay? So, what he really wants to protect the most is his truth, his silence, and the part of him that will never be explained, only felt. Okay. So, I am super curious about this. I want to know more about this four of wands, honestly. Okay? I want to go deeper. Here you go. The cards felt, and I take the, how many? 3. Okay. I want to know more about this four of wands. I want to know what she is doing. What's the problem now? Let's take those 3. So we have the King of Cups, 3 of Swords. There is always a 3 of Swords in Keanu's readings. It's unbelievable. And the Queen of Swords. Okay, guys, this is super clear. Okay? The King of Cups shows us Keanu's inner world. Okay? Calm, wise, but profoundly sensitive. His soul holds emotions like deep water, still on the surface, but full of unseen currents. So Alexandra's presence may now stir those waters, you see, and in quiet tension. You see, it's like the kind of disruption that doesn't shout. but lingers, okay? What about this three of swords? Speaks of a hidden ache. There is sorrow in the air. Perhaps unspoken disappointment or the quiet grief of staying connected when the alignment is shifted. Something in this bond may no longer feel safe, as we said earlier. This is a confirmation. Not because of betrayal, no, but because of distance where there was once resonance. And I am channeling something, and I want to share this with you, okay? So I don't know why, okay, I know the Three of Swords is a card, of course, represents pain, everything you want. But for some reasons, there are decks where the Three of Swords feels less painful, okay? I don't know here if I can find fast enough. But if I take a Three of Swords from this deck, it will never be painful like this one. And I tell you why. Okay, I don't want to waste your time looking for another Three of Swords. Anyway, believe me when I say that there are three of Swords that are far less painful than this. Keanu gets the most painful, okay? The one from the Curious Creatures deck is also makes me cry every time I see it. So, in the past, probably in the 1700s, when somebody passed, they get this necklace with this heart, and they took some hair from the defunct, dead person, and they put into their heart, okay? Into this heart, and they carry with them. This card is telling me that there is a pain that Keanu, as the king of hearts, okay? So a man full of emotions carries with him. And with this Queen of Swords, that in this reading, because we are going deeper into the Four of Swords, represents Alexandra. The Queen of Swords is sharp, intelligent, discerning, but her energy now can really come with edges, okay? Control and intensity of thought that clashes with Keanu's needs for stillness, okay? It's possible that he feels more observed than held, more analyzed than understood, but this is the meaning of the Queen of Swords in general and in this reading. But right now, in this sequence that felt from the deck, okay, I even didn't pull a card, is telling me that this woman doesn't know, doesn't want, is unable, incapable to connect with this pain that this man carries always with him. And I am not saying that she is supposed to cry for him. I am saying that she is unable to connect on that level with him. Because I can have loose people, and I did, many, and I know what it means, losing people. And I can go out with Keanu, and we can have a nice dinner, and we can have a laugh, and we can have a walk, and we can have the best time. But we can connect basically on this, because I know what pain for losing somebody is. And it's the pain that and the trauma that connect people deeply. this person in this reading, this Alexandra, cannot connect because she's unable, she doesn't know what this is. And this distance, this coldness, for this King of Cups, a man of deep, strong emotions, this is a deal breaker. And this comes with the time sometimes. But now he knows. And even though they don't know why, on a subconscious level, there is no ground for those two people to be together. And it's not the pain for what happened, it's really the understanding the pain of losing somebody you really care. And this happens a lot because there is detachment, coldness. And when somebody suffers and carries this is not feasible, okay? So, there may have been a time when Alexandra's presence, you know, sometimes you need cold people. We have to say that. It happened to me too. Sometimes you want to connect with the people who are cold and detached because it's a kind of putting that pain on the side, trying to put distance, denying, okay? So basically you are manifesting these people in your life because in that time you are denying that pain like cannot last forever, okay? Now I materialize this cold person into my life, so I have an illusion that I can forget this. Because they have no idea what this is. But no. Now, her presence may press against the very silence Keanu needs to heal. This is not about blame. It's about vibration. He is the King of Cups, holding a storming stillness, okay? She's the Queen of Swords, offering clarity but not softness, and between them hangs the ache of the Three of Swords, the space where peace once lived, okay? So what Keanu Reeves needs now, okay? What his soul needs now, okay? Because I think we have kind of peaked here. I feel like we can, we can pull another card. Let's see. What does Keanu's soul need now to return to spiritual stillness and integrity? Oh, wow, guys. The Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Oh my God. And what does it mean? The Wheel of Fortune in reverse. And with this comes whisper. It's like there is a message underneath this card saying, step off the turning wheel, choose stillness over momentum, let go of what no longer aligns. Okay, two more cards. I wanted to take only Okay. There are cards moving underneath here. I will probably pull another card. This Wheel of Fortune in reverse. So this card shows us a soul that may feel caught in rhythms not entirely his own. You see what I mean? Let me see. Yeah, because when you are on the wheel, okay, you lose control. You don't drive it, you don't steer it, you are there, and it's in reverse. So it's like cycles of energy, expectation, or even fate that have run their course, okay? So Keanu space won't come from so he was looking for peace, but is peace? You cannot find the peace on a ruling, turning wheel, but really from refusal to repeat. Oh yeah, this is like, you know, the hamster on the wheel doing always the same thing, the same path, that no longer resonates with him. So the reversed, I got it now. The reversed wheel tells us that the soul craves a pause, not progress, okay? He must release all the karmic loops, even those that once felt sacred, okay? And trust that stillness is not stagnation, but sacred sovereignty. So this is not about resisting destiny. It's about reclaiming authorship of his own rhythm. So Keanu's journey right now is about, it's not about where he's going, okay? But about what he no longer needs to carry, okay? His soul seeks stillness, okay? By stepping away from the cycles of the world and returning to quiet truth within. So peace doesn't always come by finding the right path. Sometimes it comes by stepping off the path entirely and remembering that you are the sky, not the wheel that turns beneath it, okay? So I don't know why there is this, I feel like a provocation now. I want to provoke Keanu. And I want to tell him, hey, Keanu, what if you drop the fear that telling the truth could get you killed? I know it's deep, maybe even ancestral. I have kind of the same. I can tell I'm almost the same. And this card, I had it many times. So I'm sure it comes from another time, another world, probably where speaking from the soul meant exile or worse, even trauma that we got here. But what if this time is different? What if the world is finally ready to hear you? Not the version they project on you, but the real one, the real you. The one that feels, the one that questions, the one that dreams in dimensions too vast for the screen. I get it. Safety is seductive. I know. It tells you, stay behind the curtain, stay balanced, stay untouchable. But what if safety is just another kind of silence or of imprisonment? What if the real evolution, the real freedom is in letting go of perfection, even if it means getting it wrong sometimes? Forget flawless. Be real. Be raw. Be cosmic fire in human form. And hey, if you are happy and you have found your rhythm, then forget everything I said. But if even part of, of you, one little part of you feels the weight of will turning backward, maybe it's time to step off. Okay. Because these cards here are moving, I'm going to pull another card, okay? The Tower. Oh my God, and those other two that are keeping moving. Okay, I keep them here. Wow, guys, this is marvelous. A reversed Wheel of Fortune and the Tower. Here's the last message. Right after we spoke that final truth out loud, one last card jumped out of the deck. And it says everything. The Tower comes when the soul says, I cannot pretend anymore. Basta. I'm done. This is your soul saying, basta. That's enough. It shatters the stories we used to feel safe, the masks, the labels, the lives that look perfect but feel hollow. It's not destruction of, the shake of chaos. It's a sacred collapse, the kind that frees the truth trapped inside us. This is the medicine to not get sick. So maybe, just maybe, Keanu's soul is ready to let something fall. Not because he failed, but because he outgrew delusion. And maybe you, dear listener, and maybe me, dear Marta, we are ready too. So, let's see those cards. 6 of Swords in reverse, 4 of Swords in reverse. That's why they were shaking on the table. Look at those cards. This card speaks to difficulty moving on, okay? When it's like this, it's a trip from troubled water to calm water. Here we are still in troubled water, okay? So the old self and the new one unable to fully cross the inner threshold, and unbelievable but true, another 4 of Swords in reverse. Okay. Keanu, or the soul being read, okay, may be caught between the old self and the new one, okay? This is emotional baggage. Where is the 10? Here you go. This is emotional baggage, loaded as a donkey in the past. There is resistance to change. Not because the soul doesn't want it, but because the mind still fears what's on the other shore. In the shadow of the tower, the collapse has begun, but part of you is still looking back. The Four of Swords in reverse for the second time. This card shows that before was Alexandra's role and now repeats, but this time is in Keanu's own energy field. You see how you attract these situations because he's in his field. Now it's clear, there is no rest until the truth is faced. The soul is exhausted but cannot sleep. There's a longing for peace, but no space to find it. This unrest is karmic. It's the call of the tower from within. Together with the Six of Swords in reverse, it shows a soul that knows change is needed, but it is still caught in the storm of resistance, grief, of fear, okay? So, the final message I want to leave you with, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. I want to leave you with this. Just when we thought the reading was over, here, this was my last card, okay? Two, and then I pull another one, and then those were sleeping, and we got two more cards, okay? Almost like whispers rising from the soul's deeper layers, okay? The Six of Swords, the Four of Swords, and they tell us one thing clearly: there is no more waiting, no more hiding, no more drifting in between. Keanu's soul is at a threshold moment. The tower has cracked the delusion, and those cards show the restless, sacred discomfort of standing between the past and what's next. The Six of Swords reversed shows a journey not yet taken, a crossing the soul fears but knows must come. The Four of Swords in reverse again. There will be no rest until the truth is lived, okay? So, before I leave with your consideration about this reading, which I hope you will share with me, even if your interpretation is different, you know, I love that because you allow me to enter into your world with your perspective, the way you read the cards, your point of view. And I am humbled and honored to enter into your world, okay? So now we are sharing mine. We can share everything in the comment, okay? So, to Keanu, okay? And to all of us who feel this energy. You have waited long enough. You have rested long enough. You have built a mask beautifully. We all have. It's called persona. But it's time to let it fall. People will call us name. I give you the medicine. When you think that people will criticize you, think just this. Whenever we'll die, they will say, oh, poor soul. And ciao. They will go on with their lives. Nobody will care the sun will show up again, the nights will fall again, and nothing will change in this world. The only change you can make is when you are alive and you take your own bold decisions, okay? So, you don't need to know what comes next. You only need to be honest about what's no longer true, what's no longer serving your happiness. And if the tower shakes you, let it. Because the soul isn't calling you to safety, it's calling you to freedom. And freedom is expensive. Let me know if you like a final title, okay? A final, you know, something that can really, let's say I'm going to give a title, okay, I want to introduce this. I'm going to give a title to this reading, okay, which I will call about Keanu Reeves. In the comments, if you like, and you feel like this can have another title, a subtitle that can appeal people that you know can help, let me know. I am completely open to whatever you suggest, share with you. And if there is a title to this reading that will resonate more with you, I will put it. Because now, guess what I am thinking? Talking about the sleep, not being able to sleep. Sometimes we can't sleep, okay? We try everything, meditation, distractions, even pills. But still, something in us stays awake. And maybe it's not anxiety. Maybe it's not imbalance. Maybe it's our soul, longing, whispering, restless, okay? Because somewhere deep down, we know the life we are living isn't fully true. What if the insomnia isn't the problem, but the symptom of a life unlived? What if the soul keeps us awake? Not to punish us, but to remind us, I didn't come here to sleep through this life. I came to remember who I am and live it out loud. So if you can't sleep, maybe don't reach for the silence. Maybe reach for the truth. And let that be the beginning of a peace. So, if this message moved something in you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if your soul's been whispering you lately, maybe it's time to listen. Thank you very much for your attention. Until next time. Ciao.